The red dating ladder looks brutal until it turns into a magnet map. Online dating can look like a game where everyone tries to climb above their own level. One person wants richer, another wants hotter, another wants more status. So the internet points at the ladder and says, "See, hypergamy explains everything." But here's the problem. If that were the whole story, real couples should look like people matched from opposite ends of the ladder. They usually do not. In many long-term relationships, people are surprisingly similar in education, background, values, attractiveness, religion, and social circle. So why does the ladder look so convincing? Keep that red ladder on screen because by the end, it will not be a ladder anymore. First, hypergamy is a real word, but online it often gets stretched into a universal law. Traditionally, it meant marrying someone of higher social or economic status. In some historical settings, that pattern mattered a lot, especially when women had less access to education, income, and property. But a historical pattern is not the same thing as a permanent rule of human desire. Now, the first twist. People do have preferences. They may say they want beauty, income, ambition, kindness, height, intelligence, confidence, or stability. But stated preferences are not always strong predictors of actual attraction. That sounds fake until you put people in a room. In speed dating research, including work by Paul Eastwick and Eli Finkel, what people said they wanted often did a weak job predicting who they actually felt chemistry with. The checklist looked powerful before the date. Then eye contact, timing, humor, nerves, and tiny social signals walked in and scrambled the list. Zoom in on the checklist. It is not useless, it is just not the steering wheel. And this creates the first illusion. If someone says, "I want a partner with higher status," the internet treats that statement like a final choice. But in real life, a preference still has to pass through opportunity, mutual attraction, rejection, geography, friends, family, culture, and chance. The ladder begins to wobble. Now comes the second hook. Online dating makes the latter look more real than it is. A 2018 study by Elizabeth Brooke and Emmy J. Newman looked at large online dating markets and found that users tended to message people ranked as more desirable than themselves. On average, people aimed upward. That part is important. But messaging upward is not the same as matching upward. A message is an attempt. A relationship is a negotiation between two people. That is the hidden mechanism. Dating apps make status feel visible. Photos, job titles, height, education, and popularity signals get compressed into a fast ranking screen. Suddenly, everyone can see the ladder. And when everyone can see a ladder, many people reach up. For 1 second, it looks like proof. Then reality filters it. The most desired people get more attention than they can respond to. Many upward messages go nowhere. People revise their choices. Familiarity matters. Shared worlds matter. Being liked back matters. Over time, the matching pattern bends away from pure climbing and towards similarity. That is why relationship researchers often talk about assortative mating, people pairing with others who resemble them on important traits, especially education and social background. The latter is becoming a magnet map. Subscribe for more stories like this, because the next detail changes everything. And that is where the real problem begins. The ladder is not just in people's heads. Society builds parts of it. Imagine two stick figures in 1950 and two in 2025. In the older scene, one figure has far more access to income, college, and public status. If the other figure marries upward, is that pure attraction or is it partly the structure of the world? Probably both, depending on the person and the place, but the structure matters. As women's education and economic opportunities expanded in many countries, marriage patterns changed. More couples became educational equals. In some places, women now have as much or more education than their male partners. That does not mean status stopped mattering. It means the old ladder moved. This is the part simple arguments miss. If one group is blocked from earning status directly, marriage may become one route to it. If that group gains more direct access to education and income, the dating market changes. The same behavior can look biological in one era and structural in another. So is everyone dating up? No, not in the simple internet version. A better model has five forces. Aspiration pulls upward, similarity pulls sideways, opportunity limits who you meet, rejection filters attempts. Culture tells people which traits count as status in the first place. Now look back at the red ladder. The top and bottom are still there. Status still affects attraction. People still compare. Dating apps can intensify that comparison. Some people really do prioritize wealth, beauty, education, or prestige. But most relationships are not formed by one person climbing forever while the other side waits. They are formed when two people's magnets actually connect. That is the payoff. Hypergamy is misunderstood when it is treated as the whole machine. Research suggests something messier and more human. People may aim upward, but they usually match through a mix of attraction, similarity, access, timing, and mutual choice. The internet shows you the latter because ladders are easy to argue about. Real relationships look more like a field of magnets. Some pull up, some pull away, most pull sideways until two people land close enough to stick.